questions. So if you want to go to the next slide, Katie. So your presenters today, my name's Dave Hartley. With us today, Katie Young is going to be carrying the bulk of the load for today's webinar. Katie is part of our technology team, and she does the majority of our CIEs with Microsoft, our customer immersion experiences. So basically, we help and train companies on how to use the entire Microsoft productivity suite, and Teams is part of that. So also with us is Julie Dyan. Julie is she leads for technology. She leads our cloud and our Microsoft. So the three of us will be guiding you through the webinar today. On the next slide, so this is part one of a two-part webinar series. So today we're going to do the introduction, and then next Tuesday, the 24th at 2, we've got another session where we're going to be going into the advanced features of Teams. And so that's going to be specifically from the standpoint of things we can't get into today, things that are at a fairly high level. We're going to work to make sure that give you some additional specifics on that as well. So two-part series. Looks like our slide is refreshing. Here we go. Okay. Okay, a little bit about our relationship with Microsoft. We are a Microsoft Gold partner, so we're Gold in cloud platform, cloud productivity, and small and mid-market cloud solutions. We're a Silver partner, enterprise mobility management, and data analytics. So one of the things that Microsoft has done during this challenging time is they have made their sounds like we need to get somebody muted, which I'm sure Katie will take care of. Microsoft, if you're already an existing Office 365 customer, Teams is likely included in your subscription with Microsoft as it stands now. If you're not a subscriber, Microsoft, as part of their response to some of the challenges, they're making Teams available for free for 6 months to companies as they help cope and deal with this challenging time. So, so next slide, and we'll go through the agenda. So I will cover the introduction and agenda for today. Katie's presentation is going to be focused on 3 areas. She's first going to talk about chat and how instant messaging can keep your team connected as we all try to adjust to a new normal of how do we work when we're accustomed to being physical and now we suddenly need to be virtual. Her second section is going to focus on Teams and how do you collaborate online, including sharing and working on documents together. And then her third and final section will be in online meetings. And one of the things that we've found is that the video conferencing is incredibly powerful. The ability to host sessions with up to 250 people, as well as do one-to-one face-to-face meetings as well with video enabled. And then Julie's going to answer questions. So as we go through today, you can look at the chat functionality. Katie will show that to you in a minute. But Julie and I will be monitoring that and making sure that if there are any questions, that we deal with them as we can during the session or we cover them at the end. So with that, without any further delay, I'm going to transition things over to Katie so that she can start with the introduction to Microsoft Teams. So Katie, I'll pass it over to you.
Good morning, everyone. We've had a lot of people joining. I'm going to pop open my screen here. Give me just a second. All right. Let's get back into the presentation here. All right, as everyone was joining this morning, I've been muting everyone so we didn't have some feedback. So I'm going to click up here on our mute all, which is a feature that you want to remember as a presenter because it's nice to have everyone muted as you're speaking. And then when anyone else needs to switch over and speak, they can just unmute themselves. Couldn't mute everybody though, because I didn't want to mute Dave in the middle of his talk, so I was furiously muting everyone as they joined. All right, so we're going to go ahead and mute everyone at this point. All righty. So I've got my screen shared right now, which is one of our Teams features that I'm going to cover in a minute. I do want to point out right here, our show conversation. If you want to pop that open, it's going to allow everyone to chat. Let me minimize this screen. Give me a second here. There we go. So as I am speaking today, if anybody wants to share something in the chat, you can go ahead and do that. And Julie and Dave are going to be monitoring that. And as Dave said, they'll call out things to me as appropriate, or we'll answer questions at the end. All right. Morning, Lyle. Okay, so I am not going to be able to see the chat as I'm navigating through, so I am not ignoring you, but we're going to move on now to our chat feature within Teams. So I'm going to click over here. This is kind of our different navigation buttons through Teams. I'm going to click on chat. All right, and Julie, if you can kind of mute people too as they join, that would be great. Okay, so we've got our chat feature popped up here. Yeah, pop open this. So I've got all of my recent chats pulled up. If you don't have any recent chats, this area is probably going to show you some recommended people, but this is actually not how I'm going to start a new chat. This is just how I can quickly navigate to someone I was just speaking with. So if I want to start a brand new chat, I've got my little box and pen up here. I'm going to click on that. I had Julie pulled up, but we're going to type in her name here and pull her up again. I can add multiple people to the chat. I'm just going to start with Julie today, and you just type in as many people as you'd like to speak with, and you can start a chat with them. So I'm going to go ahead and say hi to Julie. So I'm just typing a quick little message and hitting enter, and it's as easy as that to send a quick message. We do have some icons down here below our message. If I click on the first one here, this gives me the ability to kind of format my message. And if I hit enter through here, it actually enters down. So I can do more of a paragraph, I can do bullet points. I click on the three little dots over here, and that's something I want you to pay attention to throughout Teams. Anytime you see a ... it means there's more information. It's kind of like the ... at the end of a sentence. There's more to come. So if you click on that, you can see that I can insert a table. I can even mark my message as important. I can undo typing. I've got a couple more options here, but this allows me to bullet point out things and do just a little bit more. All right, so I'm just going to quickly send that off. So I do actually have to click down here on the send button because enter is just going to enter down when I'm using this icon here. Also have the ability to attach files, and when I attach a file, it's going to be stored to this chat under files. It's also going to be stored to my OneDrive in a Microsoft Teams chat folder. So anything you share within chat is automatically going to be stored to your OneDrive, and it's going to allow me to do co-editing with those that I share my file with. We're going to review co-editing a little bit more in a minute. I've also got the option to add emojis and GIFs. We had a little GIF up here earlier. TP is a hot topic right now. We can do stickers, we can add meetings, and there's a few other options down here. All right, so also up here in our top right corner, I can actually start a quick video chat by just simply clicking on this video. Of course, your device does need to have video. If you are on a PC that doesn't have a camera, you can also download Teams to your mobile device. So I would think most of us have a camera on our phones. So then you can use this video chat feature straight from the mobile application of Teams. And that's as easy as going to the Play Store or to iTunes to download that mobile app. I can also start an audio call without video. I do want to encourage everybody to use video, though, that while they're working from home, because you can actually see facial gestures. Not to mention when we meet face to face, it's going to cut down on us trying to multitask in the background, because as we're looking at each other, it is a bit rude when you get distracted and start working on something else. So if you want to remain more focused in your meetings, and just be able to see, again, gestures and have a little bit more of that human interaction while we're all working remotely, definitely want to try to do our video chats. We also have the ability to do a screen share, which is what I'm doing right now. So you guys can see as I'm moving around in here. I also, if I move up to the top here, Let's see, it'll drop down. There we go. I have the ability to give control. If somebody else shared their screen with you, if you go up here, it's going to give you the option to request control. So this is something while we're working from home, we can give control or request control, and then we can move around in someone's screen or they can move around in ours. And then that's pretty much as good as walking over to someone's desk and helping them with something. No longer do you have to call someone and say, hey, do you see that file over there? Okay, click on that. Now, do you see this in the bottom right corner? Instead, we can just navigate straight through by sharing our screen and be able to guide people to where they need to be. So we've got that right here from a chat. And we also have where we can add people straight over here. So very, very easy. We also can like people's messages by hovering over that. Little thumbs up kind of gives somebody the idea that you've read their message. You don't even have to respond. You've liked it. They know that you've read the message and you're going to act on that. We also have now these little bubbles here. So I can see that Julie just read my message down here. So I know if somebody's read my message. So don't ignore anyone when they send you a chat, because if you look at it, they know that you've seen the message. All right, also, if I hover over one of my messages, I've got these 3 little dots here. Again, that gives me more options. I can save this message. If I save it, if I click up here, you can go to wherever you can pull up all of your saved messages. So if it's something you need to reference later, you can quickly save it. You can also edit your message. So this kind of gives you a one-up on email. Once you send an email out to someone, it's gone. But if you go ahead and chat internally, if you need to edit your message, you can just click on this edit button and go ahead and edit. You can also delete your message if the information just isn't useful anymore, or if you just want to start fresh. All right. So these are our different chat features. Again, it's a quick and easy way to get a response from someone. We can do our video chat, so we can have that face-to-face interaction very quickly at a click of a button, and we can share our screen out so that we can help guide people through tasks that we're doing and just kind of see what we're doing together at once. All right. So now we're going to move over to our Teams icon, which Teams, that's what we're working in today. So this is a big feature of Teams. This is going to allow you to work together as a group more efficiently. You can see here I have a team popped open, and this is one that we kind of created for fun. Well, Teams is great. We have here our general channel under Teams. So we also, under this general channel, have a place to have a conversation, posts. We have a place to store files. We have Wiki right here, which is a place to take notes. And then if I click on this little tab over here with a plus button, I can add other applications. So when I'm working together with a group of people, if I add everybody to this team, we have a place to talk about what we're working on. We have a place to store the files that we're working on. We can take notes to refer back to and share with one another. And then we can also add applications that we're working on consistently. So all in one place right now, we have the ability to access everything. I don't have to navigate out to a ton of different places. I know exactly where to go to get the information I need to work with my group of people. So we have a general channel here with this team. You also have the ability to add channels. So when you add a channel, you would do that when you want to start having more posts and files stored for a new topic. All right, and then if we want to join or create a team, that is down here. It's very, very easy to create a team. I'm going to click on that. We're going to click on create team, and I do want to point these out here. These are our other teams that are out there. They're all marked as private, so I can't just join them. I have to request to join them. It is nice to be able to see that they're out there, though, so that I don't create a duplicate team. I can just request to join one that fits the need of the work I need to do. So we're going to build a team from scratch, and I'm going to make it private. If you do want to make it public, not only is it going to be searchable, people will be able to join that team without requesting to. So most likely you're going to want to make most of your teams private. a nice rainy day, so we'll go ahead and name it rainy day. This option right here, if you don't even want it to be searchable, you can change the settings so that people can't even search the team. I'm going to go ahead and create. Gets all happy that I created the team. All right. Julie and Dave. So it's as easy as typing in the names to add them. If you do have a distribution list, you can actually add in that distribution list, and it's going to add all the members in that distribution list. So I'm just adding these guys. Then I have the option right here to click on the member drop down, and I can change people to owners. I'm going to add both Julie and Dave as an owner. So in case I forget to delete this team later, they can go ahead and delete it for me. But that is something to point out. Owners are going to have full permission over the team. So if you don't want them to have permission to delete the team and do everything inside of the team, then you're going to want to leave them as a member. And there's ways to restrict member permissions, and we're going to review that in the next session. We're going to go ahead and pop this up. Julie already added a message. She's on top of this. I'm going to like that. All right, so we have now two places where I can add a message. Right here, I have a place where I can reply, and then I have where I can start a new conversation. And it also gives me a tip here. I can type @ to mention someone. So that's something to point out is when you are working inside of the posts here, people can, anybody that's a member of your team can go in and view the posts, but unless you mention them in a post, so you tag them, they're not going to receive a notification. So you always want to remember, if you want somebody to see a message, you need to type the @ and mention them. You can also type the @ and mention the entire team. So if you want to mention everybody on your team, you just start typing the name of the team, and that'll pop up. Anytime I get mentioned in something or any of the activity that I'm involved in inside of Teams, I'm going to get a little activity notification for that, and I'll be able to view anything that I'm involved in straight from here. So you can see this little 3. That means I have 3 unviewed activities revolving around Teams. So I'm going to mention rainy day. All right, I'm going to send that message. Okay, so now I have 3 places I can have a conversation. So I want to make sure that when I am replying directly to someone, I want to click on this reply, and I'm going to send off 2 because I need to do that to show you something here. So the nice thing about this is now all a thread. So I can collapse that, and it keeps everything together in this thread. So I've got 2 threads going here, and I can start this new conversation here. So best practice is if you're replying to somebody's comment, hit reply. Then you start a new conversation down here. All right. So the other thing that I'm going to show you here is this little A again. It now, when I start a new conversation, gives me the ability to add a subject. So I can call out what my thread is going to be about. Losing creativity, so we're just going to add a hi there. And then I'm going to hit my little send. So when I reply here, if I hit the A again, I no longer have that option to add a subject. That's just for the start of the thread here. So I'm going to delete that one. So again, this is a great way to have a conversation about the work that we're doing together as a group. Anytime I need to reference this, I don't need to go digging through my email. All I need to do is go to my group and go to the channel that we're having the conversation in, and I can view all of that information. Also, if someone new, if you have a new hire and you add them to the team, you don't have to forward a ton of emails to them. They're going to have access to all of those past posts, and so can get themselves caught up and ready to work. All right, so now we're going to pop over to files. So this is our file storage. We're going to give Teams a second here. All right, so it says we can drag files here to upload them. So that's a quick and easy way to upload a file. I can also upload a file straight from here. And if I go back to my posts, I do have this attach button here. And anytime I attach something straight from my PC or from my OneDrive, it's going to upload 2 files. I can also attach a file that's already in Teams by clicking on this Browse Teams and Channels. So we're going to go, actually, we're going to pop open the general channel over here and go to Files. We got some in here now. Show you that. Okay. So as you can see, I have a folder here too. That's something that you can add by clicking on New. You can also add a brand new document straight from there, brand new file. So you can do a file folder structure in here. Once you drag and drop something into Teams though, you can no longer drag and drop. You do actually have to click on the three little dots and click on Move. So if I wanted to move it into a folder, that's how I'm going to have to do that. Move it. As long as it cooperates, it's going to pop up in here. Apparently we're moving a little slow today. Okay, let's go back to the previous screen. All right, so he's hanging out there. All right, so I'm going to click on this file that I have added. When I just click on it, it goes ahead and opens it in the online view of Word. The only issue, you can go ahead in here and start working, but if you have special fonts or formatting or pictures, sometimes they do not show up correctly in the online version of Word. We want to actually open, and if I go to the three little dots up here, I want to open it in the desktop app. If I had not just clicked on that file, if I had clicked on the three little dots here, I also have the option straight from here to open in Word. Okay, so we're going to pop that open. And we're going to demonstrate co-editing on a document. So Julie and I are each working from home today. So we're quite a distance apart. And yet we can get in here and start working on the document at the same time. Oh, there you go. She just popped in that. So I can see her little cursor moving around. There's Julie. I can also see up here everybody that's in the document at the same time working on the documents. So this can be a little bit scary for some people. Anytime we share documents and collaborate on them, we all have great ideas. And sometimes we work really hard on an idea and somebody makes a change to it that we need to go back to our previous version of what it was. So a lot of people will save multiple versions to try to make sure that you retain the information that you worked really hard on. Well, with Teams, no longer do you have to do that. When you save a document to a team, it auto saves first of all. So I'm not ever going to have to click on this little save button if I don't want to. It's saving everything. It is then saving each change that Julie and I make. So I just clicked on File. I'm on the Info tab. Saving everything as versions. So I'm going to pop this open where it said View and Restore Past Versions. Here's name, date, and timestamps of all these different versions out here, all these different changes that both Julie and I have been making. So if Julie typed over a section that I worked really hard on and it needs to be worded a certain way, I can go back by clicking on Open Version. And I can either compare my past version and the current version to pull information from one to the other, or I can actually hit Restore and restore a whole past version over the top of my current. The one I just restored over there is also going to be saved as the version, so no worry, you can get that information back. So that is co-editing on a document. So this is definitely going to cut down your time when you're working on a document because you don't have to wait for anyone to be done with their changes before you can start working on theirs. And we're all going to know where that document lives. It's not going to be a hunt for it in email versus a certain file folder or whatnot. It's going to be on your team. You know exactly where to find that. All right. So now we're going to go out to our calendar and I'm going to show you our online meeting features within Teams. So right now we are in a Teams meeting. Very, very easy to create. And we have people internal to Anders that have joined this meeting and a lot of you that have joined externally. If someone doesn't have Teams, they can also join the meeting a link is going to be sent to them, and all they have to do is click on the link and they'll be able to open Teams within a web browser. So people don't need Teams in order to join a Teams meeting. So I pop my calendar open here in Teams. This syncs with my Outlook calendar. They are one and the same. And you can see my meeting that we're in right now. All I have to do is click on the little join button to join that. If I want to create a new meeting, all I have to do is click in on the date and time. I can add in all the information that I need for my meeting. The attendees here are only going to pull from your internal though. You can type in external addresses, but it's not going to autofill like it will in Outlook. So a lot of times instead of starting a meeting here within Teams, I will go to my Outlook and I'll start my Teams meeting from here. So let me go ahead and pop this down. Got right here where we have an option to create a new Teams meeting. I can also right click in on a date and time and do my new meeting request. And I can turn it into a Teams meeting at a click of a button. So here's my link that will be sent out to everyone. Not everybody's going to have a call-in number here. That is additional licensing. We do use this just as a conference line occasionally, but honestly, the link right here, if someone has a PC that doesn't have a microphone on it, you can remind them that they can open this email on their phone, anybody that you send this to, and then they can join the Teams meeting from their phone, and they'll be able to use the audio and visual features, video features through there. All right. Not gonna save that. I'm gonna pop open our meeting. Oh, hey Dave, you're gonna be on the screen, I think. All right, hi guys. So pop this open so I can show a few features in here. To turn on and off your camera, it's as easy as clicking on this. To mute yourself and unmute yourself, and remember when you're not speaking, best practice is to go ahead and mute yourself. That way we just don't end up having any feedback, and there's no background noise that way. I would show you how to screen share, but since I'm in a screen share, I can't do that because all I'm going to do is end that. So this is a little button though, and it's normally going to have like a little up arrow, and that's how you're going to share out your screen. When you click on that, it's going to give you the option on the far left to share your desktop, and that is what you're going to want to choose if you're going to be switching around between different applications. Because the other option is to share a window, and if you share a window, that's all the person's going to be able to see. So if you share a PowerPoint out to someone and then you flip over to your Outlook and are going through your email, they're not going to see you going through your email. They're only going to see the PowerPoint. All right, then we've got our three little dots again, and that's going to give us some more options as soon as it opens. Come in. All right, and if we do click on this, it's going to give us the option to blur our background. So that can be nice. I actually don't mind my background too much today, and let me pull this out of the way. There, you can see me down there. I got my background blurred down. So if you have a lot of clutter in the background, you can blur your backgrounds. Julie and Dave have theirs blurred as well. So this kind of makes things look a little more professional. You also have the option to add meeting notes in here, and you have the option to record. So it's having a little difficulty popping up, but we've got a few extra options in here that you always want to make sure to take a look at because they may be beneficial to your meeting. The recordings and the chat and the notes, that's all if you are meeting internally, then that's going to be saved over here to chat. Every meeting that you have internally is going to be saved to your chat. And you'll be able to access those recordings, those notes, and the chat that you were having on the side straight from there. Then we do have our two little people over here. And if we click on that, we're going to pull up our list of attendees. And then that was how I muted everybody today. So you can go in and mute everyone. You can also invite people. So if someone needs to join the meeting, you can type in their name. You can actually type in a phone number too and call out to someone. All right, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Julie, who's kind of going to sum up what we covered today. She's going to talk about some of the other things that we can offer you to help you with your working from home. And then she's also going to open up the floor for some questions. So I'm going to turn this over to Julie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Katie. I think you did a great job. To summarize some of the points that Katie made today, this was the quick and the short version of Teams for the first one. We will have an advanced one coming up next week. But today we reviewed chat. How do you do one-on-one discussions with individuals in your team? How do you share files if you wanted to share files with somebody else? And how do you share your screen? Let's say Katie and I were working remotely and I needed to show her a document that I was working on. How do I share that with her? So she showed you all those different things that are available in chat. And one of my favorite features inside chat that my team has used over the last week from working remote is the video calls. If you're inside a chat, all you do is click the video button and you have your phone call. So if you're going back and forth in emails or in chats with somebody, it's really easy just to hit that video button and do a face-to-face call with them. And one of the features my team said that they liked best was, okay, if you join to your phone, you had to remember the phone number or you to find the person's contact. Where here you were usually already talking to them in a chat message, and hitting that video button was super easy and quick. So we also covered what a team was and what is the difference between a chat and a team. And as a reminder, a team is really when you're working with a larger group of people or a larger project that you want to save the communication going forward. You want to store files that you're working on together. You want to collaborate with them as a team. And you can also do meetings with them that get stored to that team. The last item was online meetings. And this is another item we've been doing a lot this week of scheduling time with somebody else and doing a face-to-face meeting with an individual or a group. So the online meetings is another way just to formalize how you guys are working together. So at this time, I would like to open it up for any questions that anyone might have. I know there was one question in the chat, but if anybody else would like to unmute themselves, feel free, because you might have a question that somebody else is thinking at the same time.
Hey, Julie, I'll jump in quickly with just a quick story about that. So one of the things that, as we shift from being, more physical teams to virtual teams, the Teams is a powerful platform to enable you to stay connected with everybody on the team. So for example, you can do these sessions like we're doing today. You can do them with up to 250 people. So on Monday, we did a team meeting for all of the advisory practice at Anders. And so we had over 50 people connected to a video conference. And, it's difficult to do that unless you have the tool set to be able to pull that off. Teams enables that, and it actually can help you as you shift from physical to virtual management of teams. It's a great tool to be able to help you accommodate that, and the video piece is tremendous at being able to stay, connected with your team.
That was a great point, and it was something that was very new to our entire advisory group. I do have a question that was posted from Claire. Are there best practices for organizing files in teams? What if we want to restrict some access to files, but not to others? Do we have to create a new team for each iteration, or who should have access? So Claire, if you've ever used SharePoint, really Teams files are stored in SharePoint, and you can get as granular as you want with those files. So if you wanted somebody just to be able to read certain files, but not others, you can actually set those permissions. And we can go through that with you, or we can cover that. I think we might be covering that next week. Katie, are we?
I can definitely touch on that next week. It wasn't part of the plan, but we can add it.
Okay, so good question. Anyone else want to throw a question up there? Because we can definitely add it to our agenda for next week.
Hey, Julie, this is Paul Ray. Can you hear me?
I can.
Hey, I just have a quick question. I'm 21st century here now, but I have a quick question. If you've got a group of people, you've set up a webinar, and some want to join and have the visible piece of it, and some don't have access to that. They don't have it on their phone. Can you have a combination of people dialing in and just listening, and also the video chat on some as well?
Yes, you can. So if you would have checked the attendees from today, you would have seen a bunch of phone numbers. So the individuals who called in from a phone number, they wouldn't necessarily see all the stuff on the screen. They would only be listening. But you can definitely pull it up and listen on a phone side from watching it at the same time.
Gotcha. Thanks, Julie.
Sure. Okay, there's one more question that I'm reading. My organization at Webster would have to request or activate Teams as a part of M360. If you have the Microsoft 365, Teams is included. So really, to find the Teams, all you do is go out to the office.com and you can find the Teams application out there and download it to your local workstation. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so at this time, I would like to cover some additional resources that we have for our customers and clients. We wrote 3 blogs this past week and last week to help our customers get ready to work remote. And in there, we have additional services that Anders can offer to help you. We do have security services. So if you need assistance getting VPN for your employees so that they can connect from remote access, let's say there's an application that you need access to, we can help you get that set up. If you need hardware or peripheral devices, we can help get those sent out to your employees so that they continue to work from home. And cloud services. If you guys need help getting Teams implemented, or if you just want some one-on-one advice of how it could work better for your organization, we are always available to you. So at this time, I would like to turn it back over to Dave.
Great, thanks, Julie. So what we tried to cover today was a quick introduction to Teams. I think that as we look to make this conversion from physical to virtual, Teams is an amazing platform to be able to support, to be able to pull that off. As you can tell, it is different, all 3 of the presenters today. So we actually built this presentation and collaborated on it through Teams. Today's presentation is being hosted through Teams. So it's a very powerful tool, and the fact that Microsoft is making it available as part of your Office 365 subscription, or if you're not a subscriber, it's free for the next 6 months. It can help you very rapidly turn the corner from being a physical organization to more of a virtual organization. So contact information is here. So Julie, myself, Katie, we're available and can answer questions at any time. So today we covered a lot of the nuts and bolts of working in Microsoft Teams. Next Tuesday in the second session is when we're going to focus more on some of the more advanced features and also talk more about strategies for how you can collaborate with your team, different things that Teams will enable, which we think will be extremely important as your organization makes this shift to being a more virtual organization. If you have questions or comments or things you'd like to see covered in the next session, certainly send us a note, and we would be happy to do that. If you have additional follow-up questions or things you'd like to talk about, certainly definitely let us know those as well. So this session has been recorded. So if you do want to share it with others, the video should be available online within 24 hours. So we'll send everybody that registered for the session, we'll send you a link to this material, as well as we'll send you a Teams quick start guide that Microsoft published last week, I think. So that's very helpful in terms of hopefully this has helped you see how Teams works and what it looks like. That document may help provide some additional background or clarity behind some of the things that we talked about today. But certainly from a chats perspective, instant messaging, to being able to collaborate online, as well as the power of video meetings within Teams is extremely powerful. So, so we'll get you additional resources. If there's anything else that you'd like to do or you'd like to ask us questions about, don't hesitate to contact us and let us know. Otherwise, we're going to try to wrap up on time. So if there are no additional questions, we're going to wrap up this session and then hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday for the more advanced session on working with Microsoft Teams. So thank you much. Have a great day and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.